Hey everyone, how's it going? I'm Ryan. I'm the customer success manager at Rotor. Thank you so much for being here. My goodness, there's 100 places you could be, but you've chosen to come to the Rotor 101. So thank you, and I appreciate you for all being here. Suppose without going too much into myself, I suppose the main reason or the main purpose for the webinar is, I guess, for anyone who's never really used Rotor before, we're going to be going through a lot of the basics, a lot of the step-by-steps, and just really to get each and every one of you comfortable with, I guess, using the product, feeling at ease, and showing you, I guess, some of the best practices that I've come across along the way. If you do have any questions along the way, please fire them into the chat. And we have a few of the guys from Lyric Find who will be there to answer, or at the very least, they'll relay them to me, and I will do my very best to answer all those while chatting through. It would be ideal for me if you could fire those questions through, because I can get so engrossed in what I'm doing, and I would hate for it to be one long monologue. So if there's anything that you're unsure of along the way, or anything you'd like me to go into more detail about, please just raise a hand or ask a question, and I will keep an ear out and I'll try and listen for it. So what I'll do first of all, if it's okay with you guys, is share my screen, and hopefully the audio will come through loud and clear. Let me see. Share screen, tab, and share. Perfect. If all is went to plan, you should be able to see what I see, which is a login screen into Rotor. Now, what you'll see here is mostly a lot of junk. It's mostly a lot of like old files and projects that I've done in the past. But what I'd like to do is go right back to step 0. We'll go to new video. So once you log in, this will be the main tab that you're looking for, that new video, and you'll see 5 different kinds. Each one of them will depend on what sort of project that you have in mind might be. It could be everything from Canvas video, an Apple Music, Apple Motion video, a music video itself, a lyric video, or an album artwork video. Where that we began, I guess, with Rotor, best place to start, I think, is probably with music video. It's kind of the bread and butter. It's what we do most, and it's what we do best. Whenever we started Rotor, maybe 10 years ago, maybe even beyond that, there wasn't anything else out there quite like it. There was a huge demand for video to be made. You know, everyone had smartphones, but the music industry was a little bit behind. You know, people could make great footage for YouTube and these kind of things, but there wasn't a lot for musicians and artists who were really good at making music, but not very good at video, because again, that's not what artists do. They don't make videos, they play music. So we came up with an idea, really, which was that we would have a really, really clever audio analysis engine that would listen to your music. It would be able to break it apart into like beats, bars, tempo. And if we could only marry that with the video side of things, we would be able to do most of the hard work that consumes a lot of your time. We would be able to do that using automated processes and AI. So what I'll do is just give you a bit of an overview as to what's happening. So let's we'll call in a name. So we'll go Rotor 101. And we'll call it specifically music video. Perfect. So the only thing we really need from you is step 1, 2, and 3. So audio, that's the first step. We need a song. Now, for anyone who doesn't have one, we have some that you can borrow just to get you up and going. Those are all like free use, copyright-free tracks that we've acquired. There will be some caveats. So most of the formats that we accept will be the likes of MP3, .ogg, WAV, AAC, those kind of things. But most importantly is 10 minutes. So we find that anything beyond that, it can cause, I guess, it can be a wee bit tricky to get that much footage into a track that long. So 10 minutes seems to be the upper limits of where you want to be. And keep an eye out for file size as well. 150 meg, that's roughly where you want to be just for the song. So let's select the track. There's a few that I have here. Let's see. This is always a good one. Undercover Polka Club. Now, once you've uploaded your track, you can always press play just to give it a test. All sounds good so far. If you need to trim the audio, that can also be done. So for example, if you're doing the likes of an Instagram post that maybe only needs 30 seconds, just go into trim, and we have some presets here for you already. You see the likes of Canvas, 30 seconds, or even just Instagram story, whatever works for you. Let's go with 30 seconds. And obviously you can drag to where you want that 30 seconds to be. If it happens to be from that 1 minute interval until 1 minute 30, just drag it over it. That's you. You can hit confirm, and that's it done. You'll see just that 30-second snippet. Or we can just go back to basic again and just reset that full track. Since we're going to be making a full music video, this seems much better. Next, we're going to ask you to choose a style. Now we have quite a few. If you can scroll to the right, you'll get a bit of an idea of just how many of them there are. You can pick any one of these and hover over it just to get a bit of an idea of what it is. There's one, another one called fisheye, and we have them broken into categories as well. And see the likes of new and notable. So our creative team is always working on new styles. It's kind of what they do best. So these are some of the more quirky ones that have just landed. My preference has always been for kind of the minimalist ones. If I'm doing a music video, my personal preference is always kind of towards those cinematic ones, with like an old 35mm film grain. So I kind of go for those. But hovering over any of these will give you a bit of an indicative idea of what you can expect. And these go on as well. There's ones that are glitchy, ones that are a little bit retro, ones that are really intense for fast music, and others which are much more calm for slow music. All depends on what project that you have in mind. At the very, very bottom, there's a load of visualizers, things that only really require some artwork, and they'll do all the background video for you. Oh, so let's have a look. Cinematic was one that always catches my attention, mainly because of those film bars. If I click into it, I can see a little bit of a snippet here that shows a preview of the video that's actually been rendered. The thing to look out for is those black bars at the top, just like you'd expect at the cinema. There's also, whenever you see it rendered in HD, there will be some film grain as well. For this one, we're just going to keep it with landscape. If you do need it to be Instagram, you'll see the square. You can just select the square. Or if you need it to be portrait mode for your phone, the likes of TikTok, you can choose that. Now let's just go to landscape. We'll do it old school. And then finally, step 3 is the clips. Now there's 2 ways of going about this. First will be that you can browse our library. We've got quite a lot, and there's much more on the horizon. At last count, there was roughly around 1 million, and we're in talks with a huge provider, which will be adding 4K to our collection, somewhere in the region of about 9 million. But you didn't hear that here. But that would be huge, I think, having those 4K clips, because it's kind of becoming the standard. As most of us, if you have a phone that's been purchased in the last 2 years, they are 4K enabled. So whenever you're watching one of the older 1080p videos on a 2 or 4K screen, it does look a little antiquated. So 4K definitely seems to be the way, and we're working on that, arriving very soon. Clips wise, this will be just the featured ones, and they change all the time, but depends what you have in mind for the project. For example, if you were to search for, search for Belfast, which is the part of the universe that I'm from, and just have a scroll through, you'll see some of the older footage that we took back in the day in Rotor, just beside Belfast City Hall. And if you hover over any of these, you will see just a bit of a preview of what the clip looks like. Now, the thing to look for here is that little crown. So that means it's a premium clip. So just be mindful of that it will add a little bit more of expense if you add those ones on. But for everything else, as long as there's no crown on it, there's no additional cost. So let's choose some clips. You'll notice every one that I add, it adds to a timeline. And I can change the order just by dragging and dropping. So say number 4, actually that looks really good for number 1. Sorry, for first position, just drag it back. And that's you. If you wanted to fill this timeline automatically using a similar style of the clips that you've already chosen, just select Smart Clips, and it'll automatically fill that for you. As well, you'll see some others here that are based in the UK as well. I'll keep adding. And I'm just trying to keep it a similar sort of urban underground theme throughout all of this. The thing to be mindful of is the length of your track. Now, from what I recall, the length of mine was about 3 minutes at least. So if you've added 10 clips, that's probably not going to cut it. It's just going to be a little too few. You'll end up recycling a lot of the stuff that you've added. So make sure to add plenty. You'll notice a little blue bar, a little blue circle just to your left. It'll give you a good indicative idea of at least how much you should be adding. But I would always give the recommendation that you add way more than you actually think you need. Perfect. Just a few more. There's 20. A couple for good luck. So once this has been done, if you wish to rearrange any of these again, feel free to drag and drop. That's straightforward and that easy. And once you've hit done, just hit preview my video. And the render will begin. So there'll be two types of renders that are taking place here. There's the preview renders, which are low resolution. They're about 360p, but they're fast. We prefer them because they can be done so quickly. You'll watch this progress bar beginning to fill very quickly. And if you're doing a lot of adjustments or you need to make a lot of edits, you don't want to be waiting sort of 5 to 10 minutes between those. So these are definitely the way you want to go. Whenever this is finally output, the render itself will be watermarked. And if you wish to remove the watermark, only then is a purchase actually required. Another thing will be that even when this is happening in the background, because this is all cloud-based, you're not actually stuck in the screen. It's not like your home computer, where whenever you are locked onto one app, that if you open up two apps, your entire computer starts to freeze. This isn't that. This is all done on a cloud farm. So you can open up as many of these tasks as you want simultaneously, and more worker pods will just activate and do much of that groundwork for you. So hopefully that preview will render quite quickly. I'm also mindful of the JavaScript. So the refresh that might actually be rendered, but the refresh isn't working because there's an overlay on this. Let me just go back. There we go, render in progress. Yeah, perhaps it's not showing the progress bar. We'll give that a minute, just to give you a bit of an indicative idea. And what I'll do simultaneously while just that rendering in the background is we will have a look at some of the other things that are happening. So we did mention there was 4 other kinds. A lot of the time, whenever you're making a music video, if you're releasing it on certain platforms, you will need that content to be sort of Spotify enabled, just as one example. So Spotify will unofficially, I guess, reward those who have an accompanying Spotify canvas video, which is basically just an 8-second loop. If you've ever used Spotify, you'll be familiar with this. You log on and you see an 8-second clip over and over again. So let's have a look. We'll call this one Spotify Canvas. 101. Guys, again, if you do have any questions or if you need me to slow down or speed up at any point, please just let me know. And again, there's only 3 steps with this process as well. With clips, you can choose one from your music video. So you can always just add one from that collection, which was Belfast, or whichever one you like. If you want to do it a little bit differently, type in summer, beach, holiday. There we go. I'll look for something that might be appropriate for Spotify, something with a little bit of action, a little bit of fun. There we go. That looks like the winner. These themes aren't connected at all. It's really just to demo all the different capabilities that they have. So you'll notice this is what it will look like on a phone. Just to the left, you'll see that 1, 2, 3, 4, 8 seconds, and then it'll begin again. But what we can do is choose where we're seeing. So you'll notice the girl that's running here falls behind just a little bit. What I can do is edit that snippet to make sure that the focus is always on her. Let's move it just a little bit to the left and see if that makes any kind of difference. Perfect. We'll use that. That looks a little better. She's much more in focus now for those 8 seconds. That works out great. The second thing will be the style. At the moment, it's just on the default. It's on pure, which is no embellishments or aesthetics. But there's quite a few to choose from if you really fancy jazzing it up. Panel, rolling up, pixel trails, just hovering over any of these will give you a bit of a clue as to how much it'll change the aesthetics. Depends really on what you have in mind. There's no right or wrong answer. Whatever one feels right, that's the winner. Could try this one actually. Multiply, just out of curiosity to see what will happen. Or glitch, maybe. Frame skip. There's so many of these. And then the other one will be what way that you wish to cut it. So you'll notice that whenever the 8 seconds is over, you'll see almost a blip. Keep looking at the girl, any second it should happen. And that's whenever the 8 seconds expire and then start again. That was it. So another alternative to this will be rebound. So you have to kind of think of it like counting to 8. So it goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's see if we can do it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, 3, 2, 1. So it'll just keep doing that in a way that you never see anything abrupt or sharp. Nothing just jumps. It's always quite smooth. And then the third one will be fade repeat. We click into that. At the 8th second, you should see a smooth transition back to the first second. That was it. That way it doesn't look, I guess, like a glitch. It looks quite deliberate. And that's all you really need to do. So what I'll do is click download on this. And one canvas is 1 credit. Confirm. Perfect. And let's go back while this is loading. You can see from just the overall speed of the render that Canvas is actually really quick. Because it uses only 1 clip, it usually gets through it really, really fast. Give it a second. And there it is, watermark free and higher resolution. You'll notice as well that there's no sound coming through. This is standard. A lot of people get confused by this. So Spotify is actually silent. Their videos, the Canvas videos themselves, have no audio attached. All they're interested in is that 8-second video clip. Whenever you upload this, it'll play in a loop for however long your track is. So if your track is 3 or 4 minutes, you can imagine how many loops will take place during that time. But yeah, they only require your loop and your master audio. So don't be discouraged or disheartened if you don't see those. Let's go back to our music video, which was rendered simultaneously. And there it is. So hopefully the audio will come through on this as well. Let's press play and see what happens. It's so subtle, but you have no idea how long that takes whenever you're doing it manually. The point at which you were, like if you had all of these clips and you're sitting at home on just a basic vanilla video editor trying to manually add these, choosing where to cut, in line with the song, how to stitch them together, making them fade into each other or dissolve into each other, just watch the hours disappear. It takes so long. This is kind of where Rotor shines and does really well, is that you can add all these clips and it will listen to your sound. If you go back again, you'll hear the changes in the audio and how they pair off with the transitions that take place. Once more. It's one of the best features of it, which is that none of this is random. It's perfectly in line with your audio each and every time. So it looks like you have spent countless hours on these. Whenever you've done the full video and it's completely perfect, you'll think someone has manually listened to all of this when they really just pressed preview and then buy. It's a lot easier to do it this way. As well, it depends on what style of music video you want. A lot of people just really want the music video, But for others, they would like to embellish it with some more artist info. So let's go into, say, add text overlays. This will open up an entirely different menu, and you can see a whole list of like cookie cutter templates. For example, if you wanted to add your song title and artist, just click on the template, song title here, we'll call it Hello There. And we'll change this to band. Hi Creative. And that's it. You can choose obviously where you want to place these. You can mask them, which is another way of doing it, where whenever you press play and the music goes, in fact, what I'll do is I'll highlight the masking on a different one. So let's go back and remove this. And here we go. So if anyone knows the lyrics to the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, they'll be familiar with this. And once you hit that mask, you'll see just how it works. But you get the idea. Depending on whatever text you want to enter, you're good to go. Another aspect of it will be trim and filters. So you'll see all the various templates for your social media, everything from Instagram, Spotify. Just give it a click and it will chop it down for you to exactly what the length should be for that platform. Let's go back to full track. And I don't quite need the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air lyric, so I'm going to remove that momentarily. There it is. And then finally is filters. If I move this forward just a little, there will be 3 different sort of sections that you can go through for each of the filters. So some of them will be much more subtle. Try T1, just brighten it up a little. Gingham, Perpetua, S6. You will know the right one whenever you spot it. Polarized, orange, yellow, some of the more outrageous ones like retro. And this will play over not obviously a single frame, but so these are all just previews. I mean, there's no rendering time for any of these. You can just hover over them and decide which one works for you. So after a cool black and white video, that's also an option. And then finally would be your text. So we at the early days, before we had any kind of automatic or automated lyric videos, we had to do everything by hand. So you could add overlays one by one. So you would just write something like, this is a story all about how, and then you would listen to the lyrics, and then you would choose manually where you wanted those to start and where you wanted them to end. And you would just rinse and repeat over and over again, click another. And this is how we used to do it back in the old days. So it depends on, again, what you would like. You can include as little as this or as much of this as you need, just depending on what you have in mind. But the automated side of things, we will go into a little more detail very, very soon. So that's it, done. And yes, if you want to purchase that, again, without the subtle little watermark, you can just go through checkout. So just to clarify, there's no money that's actually exchanged up until now. You can do as many edits or revisions or changes as you like, and there's no cost. Like previews are unlimited, so make as many as you like until you find one that looks and feels just right. And if you think that that's the winner and that's the one that is the final version, only then do you ever need to actually go through checkout. Hit download, and you'll see the breakdown. So there's 3 credits, which is standard for a music video, and I used premium style, which will bump that up to 4 credits total. Confirm download, and the render begins. See the process of validating each of the clips, and usually within sort of 2 or 3 minutes max, that video will be good to go. Whenever that's complete, we'll go back and revisit it. So another part that I wanted to talk to you about was Apple artwork videos. So in the early days, before sort of Canvas and Apple Motion was really a thing, the quickest way to get your content online was through simple motion art, or sorry, through simple art track videos, because all they required was a song and an image. And this was all off the back of some statistics that we heard, which is something like 50% of all music listened to globally is listened to through a video. So the likes of TikTok, YouTube, that's how music is consumed, half of it. So the adage has always been, if you're not being seen, you're not being heard. And that's kind of significant. That's stuck with us for a long time. So we thought, you know what, let's find an easy way of someone getting a video that is cool, that's cheap, and that is fast. So I'll go through this one step by step with you. So we'll go to album artwork video. We'll call this one 101. And for this, you really only need 2 items. First one is your audio. Try this one. This one looks good. Select that. And the next one will be your artwork. So you can obviously upload your own artwork if you wish. For anyone who doesn't have an image handy, we've given you 10. Just choose whichever one you like. This one here looks pretty good. Let's try this. And we'll go to next to make video. The only thing it really asks you to do is, again, confirm your shape. For this one, we could go square, vertical, or landscape. Well, considering actually that it's a square album, let's go with square. See if that makes any difference. In fact, no. Landscape, because I want you to see everything, all the good stuff's at the edges. And we'll choose a background or style. So if you hover over any one of these, you'll get a bit of an idea of what happens. You look up here, you'll see the album arc, and then all the things that are happening will react with your audio. The very, very bottom, there's one called Bus Stop, which I always kind of liked. And it depicts a London bus stop. Only your album artwork is the light up sign, which is kind of cool. In fact, let's try that one actually, just curious, see what that would look like. So it's going to take just a moment to apply that bus stop style. And again, no money's been exchanged so far. You can tinker with all of these. There's so many, like it doesn't matter which section you go into, whether it's minimal, let's see all, and you'll see all the different ones that you can scroll through and try. Each one of them producing something that is quite unique. So yeah, that's the one that we're waiting on rendering. Folks, if you do have any questions, please, by all means, fire them into the comment section. I'm happy to go through just about anything you can think of. And be sure as well to state at the end, there is a discount for anyone who hasn't fallen asleep so far. We'll go back to that one once it's done. At the minute, I'm just mindful of time and trying to multitask. So rather than wait on that one actually completing, we'll try the next section, which will be album motion. Sorry, let's have a look. Apple Music, album motion. I'm just going to copy that. We'll call it 101. And what you'll see on the first page is a bit of a preview of what it's going to look like in 2 areas. The first will be your phone. So anyone who basically will be listening to your music, that's what they're going to see. And then the second will be if they are listening to it on iTunes, on the likes of a Mac or a PC, you're looking for 2 different previews, and we will be able to show you both. So first thing it's asking us for is an image. Browse. And let's see. I have a few that I've previously uploaded. Could try this one. Just out of curiosity, see what happens. And choose a style. So what will we break this up? So there's the featured, which will be all the latest ones or the most popular ones. And each one of these will bring your image, your static image, to life in some way. In this one, dissolved, you can see an individual who's breaking apart into pixels. Let's go look at fire particles. That looks like it might be appropriate for this. Let's give it a go, see what happens. I'm just noticing the background is giving me a heads up that all my videos are ready, which is great. So while that is loading up, let's go back to our previous one, which was Rotor 101. There. artwork style. Try a different one, just to be safe. I think something strange is happening with the overlay because whenever the screen is recording, it's disabled something. So instead of letting me actually click it, try it. No, I think it's because of that screen share. I will say to the guys about that. We'll call back to it in a little moment. Let's have a look at this one, see if it's been rendered yet. And there it is. You have a bit of a preview of what that looks like. So if I zoom in, you can see that the image itself has two different things happening. The fire particles have been added, and you can see a little bit of a burning effect that's leaching into the image itself. That's what it'll look like on iTunes, and here is what it'll look like on your phone. What I do have actually is one that I made earlier. So I'm pretty sure I have a art track. There it is. So again, you just add your image and your song, and this is what it should look like. You'll notice that there's a few lights here that are on the wall, a few different LEDs. They will react to the drums and the bass. Here goes. Hopefully it's not too loud. Fine, these are just a really, really quick way of getting video content up when you only have an image on a song. I have any others as well. There was one that I made earlier. So look. As the bass kicks in, you should notice more of the LED bars in the background start to animate. Let's move it forward just a little. Just like you say, cold, cold world. Life lasts. And that's it. Excuse me. It really all depends on whatever style or aesthetic that you're looking for, but that was one. And you can go through dozens upon dozens until you find one that is just right for you. The last thing really was the lyric videos, the automated side of things. Let's take a look at those. We'll create a new one. So lyric video. Select a track, and this one should do. Now, luckily I've used this one previously, but whenever you load it up, it'll look like this. So it's just really asking you to paste your lyrics. So this is just much faster than typing them in manually. You'll have a document somewhere, copy, paste, and let's see what happens whenever we sync them. So this song is one that you're familiar with and you've heard before. Let's go. And the second thing will be choosing a template or a background. So we could go with the default. With this one. Change it up. Yeah, I think the overlay appears to be preventing me. The moment that I stop sharing my screen, it'll let me press this just fine. But for some reason, the interface isn't picking it up. But what I will do is have a look and see if there's one that I created earlier. Go to lyrics. And yeah, try this one. So I think this one used pretty much the same track and audio. Let's have a look. Maybe different.
We'll never ever find another you in this life. No one will take your place. The winds are gonna be a little colder without you, but we'll try to seize the day.
So this is all done within like 5 or 10 seconds. Previously, this was a process that took hours upon hours of manually adjusting and tinkering with every overlay. Those days are gone. This is all automated. Now, if anything doesn't look to be exact, I find the accuracy to be about 95%. And some tracks are incredibly easy. You'll get much higher. But every so often, you'll find one that isn't exactly the way you want it to be. Those can be adjusted really, really easily. So let's go into I believe it's the lyrics there. So if you open up the lyrics section and go to timings, that last lyric just wasn't quite right. So let's go back just a little. Did you notice that the lyrics started around here? Just a little bit up. Let's adjust that. Let's bring it up a little. And try it once more. Perfect. That's all I want to see. If you're a little bit OCD like myself, just those little half seconds here and there can make all the difference. And you can adjust these to whatever way that you personally want. And try a different template here as well. And these are all very clickable. Like that was instantaneous. So you don't have to like pre-render everything from scratch again. It's really just changing the background. We'll never ever find another you in this life. The next thing to look at is where the lyrics are located. So the bottom is kind of default. It's what you would expect if you were creating a lyric video, but that is all customizable by you. You'll notice a little bar just to the right here, which has 9 different areas. As you can imagine, click to the left, it changes, top right, top left, and center. All down to your personal preference. Whatever music video that you have in mind, click, and it'll change instantly for you. The other thing will be the layout of the text itself. So at the minute it's done line by line, but you could change that to verse, which would be obviously more text, or word by word, which would be a little bit easier on the eyes. However, it depends on the track. Some of those intense rap tracks, it's going to be intense. So just be mindful of the speed of your song. Hit verse. No one will take your place. The winds are gonna be a little colder without you, but we'll try to seize the day. That was a really good example, actually, of the word. Definitely works better with slow songs. If it's one that where the words transition too quickly, it'll move too fast for you to see. Let's go back to the line. Animation as well. Continue. We'll never understand the reason for you leaving us and fight too soon. Some people born to bear the burdens for the rest of us. I wish I could have worn even a fragment of yours. But I hope. So with that one, I didn't really want to explain that the size was changing. I thought just clicking and showing you would pretty much set it for me. It all depends on what you really want. As well, the text, you can choose whether you want it to glow, outline, mask. These are all various different options, just depending again on what you have in mind. Color can be changed, the effect color can be changed, and of course, the font. There's a load of really quirky and quite unusual fonts that we've selected. feel free to choose whichever one you like. Montserrat. Again, when you find the right one, you'll know it. And that is our 5, as far as I can tell. So those will be the sort of the 5 main things that you need to know. We managed to create a music video, which was running through Belfast. And again, that did not take long at all to create. A few minutes in the background and it's done. Previews are unlimited, as many as you like. There's no reason at all not to try it and give it a go. You only really need to purchase. If you decide this is the winner, this is the exact one that I want. We did our canvas, which took seconds, and we have something that is ready to go and will be absolutely accepted by Spotify. We haven't had a single video ever rejected. The parameters were really, really precise. So for our engineers, that was music to their ears. So they knew exactly what to do to make this one work perfectly. Third up was our artwork videos. If you need a video up really, really quickly, but don't really have the time to go into a full music video, just give us your album art and we'll do the rest for you. Choose a style that works for you, and within minutes you'll have something that you can upload to YouTube and be usable fast. The Apple Music side of things is kind of a big deal for serious artists who are lucky enough to have these channels open to them. Those artists who have that correct functional artwork ready to go on launch, their album will be prioritized. It's something that we've noticed. Apple will never officially say this, but those who don't have it generally don't really appear that much. They're not preferred. Those who have got it tend to rise up the ranks quite fast. And then the last one was our lyric video. Again, historically, this stuff used to take so long doing individual overlays. A music video itself, which might take you 30 minutes, you could add on hours going through a long lyric video. Those days are gone. You can have one knocked out in minutes. You just copy and paste, and that is you. And that's all our 5. Folks, I'm going to open this up now for any questions that you might have or anything you'd like me to readdress or go over again. Thank you for everyone for staying with me this long. This really is just a casual walkthrough for anyone who has never used it before. The Branny, thank you. Yes, guys, have a look at the comment section. Branny's just made a comment there. So your code is new to Rotor, and you get 20% off, and that is valid until July 31st. So for anyone who is curious about Rotor, again, you don't have to buy anything. Just go and have a tinker, have fun, see what each of the different tools can do for you, and you can't break anything. So by all means, be as creative as you want to be and see what some of the outputs are. You'll be really, really surprised. And that's it, I believe. If there's any other questions that anyone has, it always has me worried, which is, have I talked too much, or is the chat working? Omar, Harry, and Trevor, thank you. Really appreciate it. Solange, thank you. And Tara, you're most welcome. Oh, you're most welcome. Thank you, Amy. So folks, in my part of the world, it is coming close to dinner time, so I'm going to bid you a good evening, and thank you so much for joining us for the webinar.